Hi class, I thought that we would start this lesson today by giving you a little bit of background on The Rebound that we have just read by Kwame Alexander, and maybe learning a little bit more about this author and why he writes the way that he does. So, Rebound and the Crossover, as we've discussed a little bit in class, Rebound is the second book to the crossover, although it is about Chuck the Man Bell, or Charlie Bell, who is Josh and Jordan Bell's father. Josh and Jordan Bell are the main characters from the crossover. I hope any of you who have really enjoyed this book will think about reading the crossover and seeing how Josh and Jordan's life kind of mirrors that of their fathers, and how they each have to take their own journeys and learn how basketball and life can work together. So let's talk a little bit about why this book is important. Why do you think we've read this book right before going into our poetry unit? What similarities can you find in this text and poetry? And how can we make poetry about ourselves and turn it into a story? Also, what is your definition for poetry? I'd like you guys to each take a minute and write down these questions. Maybe write down a few answers that you have for them. Maybe even answer these questions with questions of your own. And come to class prepared tomorrow to ask these questions to your Think, Pair, Share groups, so that we can have a good class discussion on kind of discovering what poetry is and why this book and Kwame Alexander's writing can help us become our own poets. So what are we going to do now? If you guys can take a minute, either after this video or you can pause and watch this video. If you listen to this video, Kwame Alexander, he discusses Rebound in a video interview. He explains the way the rhythm of basketball mirrors the rhythm of life in his books Dribble, Fake, Swoosh, Miss. What is your reaction to Alexander's journey to publication and the ways in which his poetry and the character he creates encourages a say yes attitude towards life? I would like each of you to take a minute to write down your own say yes lists after you've listened to the video and have a little bit more of an idea of what the say yes list can be. So write down a list for yourselves in your journals that can serve as personal promises or reminders, or just ideas to take risks and try new things and embrace the unknown, especially as we go into poetry. Poetry can be a little bit of the unknown. We go through mazes where we're trying to discover what the poet is trying to get us to understand from the poem, the themes that we're trying to get from them. And so maybe take some of your own risks and try new things when you look at poetry and the way that you can write it. As you write these lists, you have each written down at least a few ideas for a poem of your own just by writing this list. As Kwame Alexander writes in Rebound, Charlie talks about his life in a poetic way. The way that his life is written, he talks about his sadness, his talks with his friends, the way that he connects to basketball, all in a poetic way. It's all written in verse in this short story, and it just shows how great Kwame Alexander is taking the verse of poetry and turning it into a novel for us. So I hope you each enjoy this video interview that you're listening to, and that you can have some notes ready for class tomorrow so that we can have a good class discussion, and you can each have a little bit of background knowledge on Kwame Alexander and his reasonings for the Rebound, and we can have a good discussion on what you guys felt you took away from this novel and what you feel like Kwame Alexander wanted you to take away from this video. So that's all for today. Make sure you write in your journals and you come prepared for a good class discussion tomorrow. Thank you.